What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my review for the TV show Justified. So Justified is a TV show that aired from 2010 to 2015. It was 6 seasons long, 13 episodes apiece, for a grand total of 78 episodes total. And this was an FX show, but it is currently on Hulu. I am filming this at the very end of April 2024. So as of filming this video, it is currently on Hulu. And this is a TV show that, for those of you who don't know, the premise is about a U.S. Marshal named Raylan Givens, played excellently by Timothy Olyphant. And he is a strong, wild, and at the same time quiet lawman who at the same time is haunted by his past. And he in fact actually decides to return to his native town to seek out justice, and then also at the same time serve to those that are especially in need. This is a show that I've heard quite a bit about over the years. I heard nothing but positive things, and especially being a huge fan of the Western genre, it was always a show that I had in the back burner. I was like, I need to check out the show. I've heard really good things about it. I've heard it's one of the best of all time. It is on IMDb's top 250 in terms of TV shows. But I think what really pushed me into the direction of finally checking out this show was that I was watching Yellowstone, and I wasn't really vibing with it. There was some elements of that show that I liked, but I needed something after watching Yellowstone that kind of gave me a reaffirmation of the Western genre, and more specifically, contemporary Western, aka neo-Western. So I was like, you know what, I'll watch Justified. And one thing right away about Justified that stands out is that it is such a character-driven show. And that's the greatest thing about it that I can say. If you were looking for a plot-heavy show, this really isn't the show for you until, I would say, season 6. This is the show that if you are into characters, strong writing, dialogue, humor, just really getting a sense of the environment, the setting, this is the show for you. This is a really well-crafted show. I didn't love it, but I have so much admiration for it. Like, just watching it, I really appreciate it. I watched it season by season. I decided to have it where when I watched the first season, I didn't really get into it until the end of season 1, and that was when I realized, you know what, I'm not going to have it be where I'm just going to try to force binge watching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a goal where I'm watching one season per month. So I started it in November 2023, finished it in April of 2024. And the reason being is because I really wanted to get a feel for these characters. Like, just knowing that it isn't a plot-heavy show and that it is, in fact, more of a character-driven show, I wanted to really be able to embody and get to know these characters. And I'm glad that I had it that way, because I feel like that is, in my opinion, the best way to watch this show. I also liked how, reading up on this show, the reason why these characters are so embodied of the roles of the actors playing them is simply because the behind the scenes is that a lot of times writers have it where it's like they have their vision and it's like they want to just go for it and that's it. The actors don't really have as much input. It was the opposite with Justified. The actors actually gave a lot of input that then the creators and the writers would then say, yes, let's do that. So that's the reason why these actors feel so lively in these roles, and so much care is clearly put into them. Raylan Givens is one of the best characters on TV, just flat out. I'm just going to say that. I think that Timothy Olyphant gives a great performance. It's funny because I don't really see Timothy Olyphant in too much. Like, I did see him in, I think it was Fargo season 4, which was kind of, now looking back, kind of riffing on almost his role in Justified, but I've seen him in other things too, and it's interesting to kind of hear his accent in other roles, but then here, it's just like such a natural Southern accent that I really appreciated. His performance, and then also Walter Goggins, who he plays Boyd Crowder, these two are electrifying. They have a very love-hate relationship that makes the show really feel dynamic and at the same time unpredictable, and I really appreciated this approach. I think that if you were to watch the show for any reason, that is the main reason. I also have written down other actors that play characters that I think do an excellent job. Again, I'm just going to say this. I think everyone does a great job, but these are the ones that for me were kind of the standout while watching. I think Joel Carter, who plays Ava, I think she is great. Nick Searcy plays Art Mullen. He is also really good, and it's funny because I've seen him in other stuff, but what I'm most known by is a very small role in the film The Fugitive. So it's just kind of funny seeing him in that role and then here in Justified. And his role is very interesting in this show because he is like a father figure for Raylan, and it's interesting to see their kind of dynamic play out. Jeremy Davies plays Dickie Bennett. and Jonathan Tucker plays Boone in season 6. And the reason why I have these two characters next to each other, specifically the actors, is because both of them are in the TV show Hannibal, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's just kind of interesting to see that these two were in both shows, but more importantly, how they play such different roles. And it really, for me, gave me an appreciation even more so for these actors with the range that they're able to, procliver to us. So I really appreciated that. I also like Erica Tazel, who plays Rachel Brooks, and then Jacob Pitts, who plays Tim Gutterson. I think these two, one of the main reasons why I have them on this list is because I don't think that they get enough credit. They do such a great job of keeping Raylan Givens level-headed, giving him a different perspective because they work with him. And it's really interesting to see that, their dynamics play out. I also think one of the big things I have off to the side, like some surprises, Patton Oswalt plays Constable Bob Sweeney, and when I think of Patton Oswalt, I always think of like a comedian because that's what he is. And I've seen him in other roles, and it is always interesting when you see him play against type. And this is definitely that role. Like, he is really good. He's not in it that much, but when he appears on screen, he's really good. I especially like the scenes with him and Raylan Givens. Sam Elliott plays Avery. I really liked him. It's a given. Like, he should have been in this show, but I was so happy to see him when he appeared. I'm not going to say when, but when he appeared, I was like, this is such a good role. Like, he is so good. And I don't know, I always see him as like a nice guy, so it's just very interesting to see him, again, play against type. So I appreciated that. And then Margot Martindale plays Mags Bennett. Now, one could argue that we've seen her play similar roles to this character, such as, like, say, $1 Million Baby, but I feel like $1 Million Baby, it was so easy to hate her character versus in Justified, you really care about her character. You understand where she's coming from. And that's something I forgot to mention earlier. One of the reasons why Walter Goggins decided to sign on to Justified, and he actually originally declined it, but then he changed his mind, is that he actually started looking up and started seeing that the writers and creators were really trying to put a lot of care and effort into this Southern culture. How it's not just these people are dumb. It's not. They are very grounded. They are very realistic, and they're, your average Joe. And that's something that he appreciated. And honestly, I appreciate it too, because it gave me a different perspective on life. And I think that that's something that I really like about, any art form, is that it can give you that. And that's something that I think that Margot Martindale, who plays Mags, especially delivers. Like, you understand where she's coming from 100%. You might not necessarily agree with her, but you get with where she's coming from. And I think that she did a great job in that role. As far as the seasons go, it goes like this. If you go online, you will see the ranking differ from person to person. And that is great. That's what I love about certain shows. Justified, for me, I think the even seasons are the ones that are the best. Season 2 is really good. Although season 1, when it picks up, specifically the season 1 finale, it is pretty amazing. Season 2, though, is like really good. Season 3, I like the villain, but overall, I think that it never really became a cohesive season. Season 4 is really good. I think especially the later episodes, just so good. Season 5 is not that good, but at the same time, it's a necessity because it does a good job towards the end in terms of the last couple episodes of building up season 6. Season 6, I think, is really good. It starts off kind of slow, but by the midpoint of that season, it becomes an incredible just series of episodes. Like, the last couple of episodes, I gave a 10 out of 10. I think that for some people, that you might look at season 6 and say, well, wait a minute, why is this so super serious? Because the other 5 seasons had that balance of like comedy and drama. And the reason is because everything is pretty much hitting the fan, if you will. And I liked that approach, but at the same time, I also lean more towards like heavy dramas, so that's why I was able to appreciate it. But this is a show that if you like Westerns, you will definitely be able to appreciate it because it has a lot of themes of the Western genre, and it handles it really good. And I especially liked how the first episode of Justified and the finale tie in. It's a very interesting concept, but it's also a show that if you like crime, if you like dramas, if you like comedies, it has something for everyone. But it goes without saying, full circle moment for my review, if you are looking for a show that is heavy on story, this isn't the show for you. It does have it for sure, where there is some buildup. But for the most part, this is a show where it's almost like a hangout show. You are getting to know these characters, you're getting to know the environment, and through the writing, it really delivers on that front. So I would say if you were a fan of, like, say, The Sopranos, I would recommend this show. But if you're a fan of, like, say, Breaking Bad, this is different from that. It's a different flavor. And honestly, that's what I like about TV, is that it's able to deliver, different flavors. So for me, Justified, it's definitely worth your time. That's why for me, I'll be giving the show a... Yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Justified. Again, I wanted it to be spoiler free in case some of you that are watching this haven't, seen the show. Again, it is worth your time, I do believe. And I am curious about if I'm not mistaken, there's a spin-off show. Haven't decided yet if I want to check it out, because I was just so satisfied with the finale of the show. So I don't know. Maybe curiosity would get the better of me, but for now, yeah, it's worth your time. Also, I'm very curious to see the ranking. If you have seen Justified, or you have any questions in general about the show that maybe I didn't answer because, again, I didn't want to spoil anything, let me know in the comment section down below about your ranking for the show or any questions you might have. I'm always down to talk about this show. And yeah, Justified for me comes recommended. If you haven't done so already, guys, leave a subscription, notification bell, follow me down in the letterbox, and I will catch you guys later.